Starbucks. Tim Wilson.
Yes.
If I told you, Tim,
Yes.
you can go back in time 20, 25 years and buy Starbucks stock, put a few $1,000s in and make 20, 50, 100 times your money, whatever that number is, would you do it?
Yes.
Okay, well, tonight I may have a similar opportunity for you, yes.
Woohoo!
If you can, by the way, does anyone know when I say the Chinese Starbucks, what this company is?
No.
Mark,
No.
you been to China? Who is the Chinese Starbucks?
For what?
The Chinese Starbucks, some people call it,
I
new
know-
company in China.
I know who you're talking about. I can't
But-
think of
Name
the name.
Starbucks. 'cause
Well, I know the
yeah,
name.
no copyright protection over there.
I know a name of a company that's blowing up in China, but I don't know if it's.
Okay, so we all have hints of what it might be, but I actually have all the information.
Okay.
And for no charge, I'm going to give this wonderful stock tip to you. The name of this company is Luckin Coffee. Does that ring a bell to you, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, Luckin Coffee. So let me fill you in on all the details. Ken, you're smirking, but I actually believe in this company, and I do believe it could become the Chinese Starbucks. So Luckin Coffee, what is it? So I'll just give you some basic facts. Luckin Coffee, it IPO'd in New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, I'm not sure which one, but in the US, I think around March or April of this year. Luckin Coffee, and I actually remember hearing about it a little bit, but I really didn't follow it too much. I read just a little bit. They were doing a lot of coffee deliveries. They were running at a loss. They weren't making money. And at the time, I was thinking, well, another money loser, growing too quickly, delivering food, losing money. Why would I pay attention to this? But recently, I read a bit more about it, and I started to become intrigued by this story, Luckin Coffee. So what I read recently that really made me change my opinion of this company was basically the stock price went up. I follow stocks in general. I've talked about investing in some other things, and I think the stock IPO'd around $15 a share. And then a month or two ago, it jumped up from $15 to $20 to $35, and it caught my eye. And plus, I was talking to Mark earlier. I am interested in stuff that goes on in China, and I also like coffee, like we discussed. So I was like, well, China, coffee, stocks, this has all the things that appeals to me. So I started reading some articles about Luckin Coffee and also watching a lot of YouTube videos. You can learn some things by watching YouTube videos. So what did I find out about Luckin Coffee, and about China? Some basic facts, and about Starbucks. Starbucks has been in China, I'm just guessing, Mark, I know sometimes my figures are off. I think Starbucks has been in China for around 20 years, give or take, and they have about 4,000 stores. They've done very well. In China, Starbucks, the wealthy people go there. It's like $5 for a cup of coffee. It's like a great place to go. That's Starbucks. So this Luckin Coffee, so what is it? So some basic facts about Luckin Coffee. They just started in China a couple years ago. Already they have over 4,000 stores. They've already overtaken Starbucks with the amount of stores they have. So some other things about China and Luckin Coffee. First of all, in China, of course, we all know, we imagine people drink tea, hot tea in China, which is true. In America, I think the average American drinks 500 cups of coffee a year. In Europe, I think it's even more. In China, it's only 5 cups. So we already know there's a good opportunity for growth. Now, why do I think this is because in one of my little research articles I was reading, one person was asked their opinion of coffee and Luckin, and the person was asking a question, do you think they'll do well? And this person said, of course they're going to do well. Coffee is addicting. Once you drink it, you like it, right? In Japan now, coffee is very popular. And even though it was just kind of an offhanded remark, it kind of rang a bell. Well, coffee is addicting. But getting back to Luckin and Starbucks. So as I said before, Luckin, they have been losing money because another thing about them is, as I said, the average Starbucks sale is $5 a sale. For Luckin, it's $1.50. So they've been getting a lot of new customers because they've been selling their goods at a loss or break even. And I think now they're just moving to break even point because they're scaling up where they have 4,000 stores. But even so, at this point, it's just another company. There are other coffee companies in China too. It's not like there aren't other brands there. But the thing that really got me about Luckin Coffee, where I thought it really could be the next Chinese Starbucks or whatever you want to call it, it really could be a great investment idea where you can make 10 times your money. Right now they have a market cap of 8 billion. Starbucks market cap is 100 billion, but of course Starbucks is all over the world. Europe, US, China, God knows where. They're very profitable. They make a few hundred million every quarter of every year. But what really drew my attention to really why I think Luckin can be successful is everything, Mark, you may know this, and with Luckin Coffee, everything that you purchase on Luckin is done through an app. There's no cashiers, you can't walk in and order it, you have to do it on the app, you have to download the app. That's the only way to get your coffee or sandwiches or whatever you want at Luckin Coffee. So right away this occurred to me, well, I know in China already everyone pays for everything on their phone. And you might think, well, why doesn't Starbucks do the same thing in China? A friend of mine who I was telling about this company to said you can actually order on your app now at a Starbucks. Well, sure, but how many people actually do it? I go to Starbucks all the time, and maybe you'll see a few people have put the app in and just walking off the street and getting a cup of coffee. So when I was reading about Luckin Coffee, I was reading some other things like 10,000 people are downloading this app like every day. And the more I put 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 together, that's 6 or 8. I think 6. The more I put all these things together, it seemed to me this company seems like a real winner. And a few other things about Luckin Coffee, it's backed by a woman, I think she's the CEO, and it's backed by a lot of technology people. So in some ways it's a technology company. So when I just started researching the history of coffee, China, Luckinness, it really appears to me that in some ways it's worth a shot, and also they can expand to other Asian countries and even America. So in closing, I do think Luckin could be a good investment long term. Some negative aspects which people might think of, which Tim pointed out to, of course, China is not a typical democracy like we have here, so not only that, there are some Chinese companies that I think traded on the New York Stock Exchange that have gone bust because they're not as well regulated, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's more opaque over there. So it is a bit of a gamble, I think, investing in a Chinese company. But if you put all the pluses and negatives together, and like I said, it's not profitable or just becoming profitable. But at least in my opinion, if you put all the pluses and minuses, I think it's a pretty good gamble to become the next Chinese Starbucks. Thank you very much.